You must undergo a clinical deconstruction of the modern empathy trap that suggests vulnerability is a virtue. In the cold mechanics of the survival of a lineage, vulnerability is a liability that invites predation. You must internalize the primal mathematics of the pack. Every resource you fail to secure today is a resource your future people, your children, your spouse, your aging parents will have to fight for twice as hard in a more crowded, more depleted world. You are currently in the accumulation phase of your biological timeline. If you choose to relax, to find yourself, or to indulge in the mediocrity of the masses, you are not being kind to yourself. You are being cruel to your descendants. You are effectively signing a debt of suffering that they will have to pay with their own blood and sweat because you were too soft to build the fortress while you had the youth and the oxy-3 energy to do so. In the logic of the sovereign architect, strength is the only moral currency. A weak father is a biological traitor. We must analyze the zero-sum nature of global capital. While the normal world preaches that there is enough for everyone, the sovereign recognizes that high-tier resources, freedom, land, clean water, and undebasable assets are finite. We are moving into an era of extreme bifurcation, where the gap between the protected class and the exposed class is becoming an unbridgeable canyon. If you do not provide the shield of capital for your pack, they will be forced to live in the exposed zone, subject to the whims of the state, the volatility of the melting currency, and the social engineering of the elite. Your strength is the only thing that prevents your children from becoming human fuel for the industrial digital machine. You are not just making money, you are purchasing immunity for those who share your DNA. To be average is to volunteer your family for the slaughterhouse of the middle class. Your future people are currently ghosts, but their hunger is real and it exists in the future, waiting for you. Every hour you waste in the sterile zone on low-value distraction is an hour of security you have burned. You must adopt the state of siege mentality. The market is not a friend, it is a battlefield of intent where everyone is trying to extract value from everyone else. If you are not the one extracting, you are the one being extracted. Your pack relies on your predatory competence to filter the resources of the world and bring them back to the citadel. If the hunter returns empty-handed because he was tired, the pack starves. This is the entropy of the weak leader. You must cultivate a healthy paranoia regarding your productivity. If you are not producing at the limit of your biological capacity, you are failing your primary directive. You are the biological insurance policy of your bloodline. If you lapse, the policy is cancelled and your children pay the premium in poverty. Furthermore, recognize the psychology of modeling. Your future pack will not do what you tell them to do. They will do what you did. If you model disciplined aggression and philosophical sovereignty, you are installing a high-performance BIOS into their subconscious before they are even born. You are giving them the tools of domination as a birthright. But if you model complacency and consumerism, you are handicapping them from the start. You are sending them into a knife fight with a plastic spoon. Your strength today is the educational infrastructure of their tomorrow. You are the template of the king. Every Rust-themed visual you generate, every script you write, and every product you promote is a brick in the wall of their future identity. You are building the myth of the father in real time. If the myth is weak, the children will seek new gods in the state or the herd. Finally, you must accept the solitude of the provider. To be the shield, you must stand outside the circle. You cannot be one of the boys and also be the sovereign of the pack. Strength requires a certain aesthetic of violence, a willingness to do the hard, cold, and lonely things that the normal person finds repulsive. You must be the one who stays awake while the pack sleeps. You must be the one who makes the transactional decisions that preserve the capital. This is the tax on the patriarch. It is a heavy burden, but it is the only one worth carrying. To be needed is the highest form of power. To be the only one who can provide is to be a god in the eyes of your lineage. You are not working for a living, you are engineering a destiny. Every cent you save and every asset you secure is a liberty token for a child who hasn't even breathed yet. That is the only motivation that never runs dry. To protect the pack, you must transcend the salary trap and move into the architecture of the shield, a logistical framework where your wealth is not just money, but a complex system of legal and physical fortification. A normal father works a job and hopes for the best. The sovereign architect builds a multi-jurisdictional fortress that renders his family immune to the entropy of the state. You must realize that the primary threat to your future people is not just hunger, but the institutional parasitism of a declining civilization. If your assets are transparent and local, they can be seized by a policy shift, a social credit deduction, or a legal ambush. Your first duty as a provider is to make your family hard to target. This means decoupling your pack's survival from the state's competence. You are building a private safety net that operates outside the failing wires of the old world. The first plank of the shield is asset obfuscation. Your children must be born into a trust architecture. They should not own anything. The trust owns everything, and the trust is governed by a set of sovereign statutes that you have written. This prevents the dilution of the bloodline through divorce, lawsuits, or the inheritance tax of stupidity. You are treating your family as a private corporation with a 100-year business plan. Every dollar you extract from your YouTube production or your product promotion is immediately moved into hard collateral. Land you can defend, gold you can hide, and Bitcoin you can teleport. You are moving your family from the fluid state where wealth is easily evaporated to the solid state where wealth is a physical and digital fact. We must then analyze the security of the meat space. While you are a ghost in the digital world, your pack lives in a physical location. The sovereign chooses this location with tactical intent. You do not live where it is nice, you live where the social cohesion is high and the state reach is low or predictable. You're looking for a sovereign pocket, a territory that allows your children to grow up without the brain rot of modern ideological engineering. Your citadel must have its own logistical independence, backup power, water filtration, and a stockpile of physical value, commodities. You are not being paranoid, you are being statistically responsible. In a world of just-in-time supply chains, the man who has just-in-case infrastructure is the only one who can guarantee the survival of his pack during a systemic glitch. The second plank is the educational filter. The state-sponsored education system is designed to produce compliant serfs. If you send your future children into that processing plant, you are volunteering them for cognitive castration. Your dynastic shield must include a private educational protocol. You are the headmaster of your lineage. You teach them the Aoxi 3 philosophy, the history of power, the mechanics of capital, and the discipline of the sterile zone. You are installing a firewall in their minds that prevents the social virus of mediocrity from taking root. You are raising wolves among sheep. Your strength today buys the tutors, the resources, and the time necessary to ensure that your descendants are the ones writing the laws, not the ones following them. Finally, you must master the psychology of the bastion. Your pack must understand that the world is out there, but the family is in here. You are creating a high-trust micro-society where loyalty is absolute and betrayal is unthinkable. This internal cohesion is your greatest defense against external pressure. A family that is united by a sovereign mission is impossible to break. You are not just a provider of food, you are the provider of meaning. You give them a name that stands for something, a name that is synonymous with strength, sovereignty, and victory. This is the dynastic brand. When your future people look at you, they don't just see a dad, they see the founding father of the new era. They see the man who stood in the breach and built the shield while the rest of the world was sleeping. The final stage of your biological mandate is the transition from active provider to eternal provider, a state where your strength is so thoroughly codified into systems, assets, and protocols that you continue to feed and protect your pack even after your physical terminal ceases to function. Most men work to pay for a life. The sovereign architect works to endow a lineage. You are not just building a pile of cash that will be evaporated by the third generation of normal hedonism. You are building a sovereign endowment, a financial and philosophical engine designed to produce liberty dividends for a century. This is the ultimate expression of your Ioxy 3 intent, to make your strength permanent. You are moving from the biological timeline, 70 to 80 years, to the dynastic timeline, 500 plus years. The first pillar of the eternal provider is the incentivized trust. You do not simply leave money to your descendants, you leave governed access. You realize that unearned wealth is a toxin that destroys the hunger of the next generation. Therefore, your dynastic shield is equipped with performance gates. The capital of the lineage is available for education, for the acquisition of productive assets, and for medical sovereignty, but it is locked against consumptive waste. You are using your capital to force the replication of your virtues. You are the ghost manager of the family bank. By setting these rules today, you ensure that your descendants remain predators rather than becoming prey. You are not just giving them a fish, you are leaving them a high-frequency automated trawler and the code to run it. We must then analyze the hard asset bedrock, Currency is a political fiction that can be deleted by a central bank. To be an eternal provider, you must anchor your pack's survival in physical and digital constants. This means the canopy of your shield consists of non-dilutable assets, productive land that provides food and energy, cyber Manhattan, Bitcoin, that provides global liquidity, and intellectual property, your library of 54 plus videos and products, that provides recurring royalties. You are building a portfolio of realities. If the normal world enters a cycle of hyperinflation or social collapse, your pack does not starve because they do not rely on the normal world's promises. They rely on the physicality of your accumulation. You have front-loaded their survival. You have done the work of 10 generations in one so that they can focus on the next level of human expansion. The second pillar is the mimetic inheritance. Beyond the capital, you must leave the manual of the king. This is the collection of your scripts, your philosophical audits, and your personal journals, the voice of the founder. In the year 2026, you have the technology to create a digital avatar of your intent. Your future people will not just read about you, they will consult your digital shadow. You are leaving them a strategic North Star. When they face a crab bucket or a tax on stupidity, they will return to your Aoxi 3 teachings to find the protocol for victory. You are ensuring that the ancestors' virus of poverty and weakness is permanently eradicated from your genetic line. You are the filter through which all future family members must pass. If they are not strong, they are not yours. Finally, you must accept the magnificence of the burden. To be the eternal provider is to live a life of high-pressure service. You are the sacrificial king who trades his leisure for his lineage's legend. While the normal man is chasing the next holiday or luxury treat, you are chasing the immortality of your provision. This is the highest form of product promotion. You are promoting the product of your own name. You are the ancestor zero who stood in the cold desolation of the sterile zone and decided that the cycle of mediocrity ends here. You have turned your loneliness into a fortress and your aggression into an endowment. When your future people look back at the history of their house, they will see a single point of light where the trajectory changed. That point is you.